Alright, you know what? Good enough. Why wait? Why put this off? We're getting this done. Hydration important, that is correct. I had a drink, but I will have another drink in a moment. Alright, there'll be a little bit of live setup as we get into this over time, but that's fine. Oh, wait, this needs to be... Hold on. I also just woke up, so my voice will clear up over time. Hello Bolus, hello Cruz, hello Dustin, hello Percy, hello... No, that was just me. Okay, brilliant. So, to those who don't know what is going on, last night I went to sleep, and then I failed to go to sleep, and instead I started spouting random garbage, and one of the things that really upset me while I was trying to get to sleep, other than the fact that toes weren't like interchangeable with sockets, and you couldn't just like unplug one and plug another one in, is that the real world just isn't designed for furries. People just... How's Laris? Laris is slammed, but she's doing really well. Her grandmother is up here, and she's helping us out with both cleaning the house and with the kid. Kid's doing really well, by the way. He's doing great. And my parents are rocking up early next week, so they'll be helping out a lot as well. So yeah, everything's going really well. We've just been crazy busy. How have you been, Kiara? Thanks for popping in, and yeah, hope you're doing really well. Yeah, it's been awesome actually. It's been... Oh, I also had food poisoning for 3 days last week, which didn't help. They were run ragged twice as hard because of that, because they had to make up for stuff I would usually be doing as well. So, this is a writing stream. In name only. Really, it is a just chatting stream about how furries, if they were real, would be a set of the most disenfranchised minorities present in the public life, and how they would choose to cope with this, how would they function around this, and how would this lead to the rise of one or more subcultures designed to cope with this lack or kind of shortfall of either society or of... Look, we'll get into it. There's a whole bunch of topics to cover one by one, and they're all very, very near and dear to my heart, and I will be... Hey, Wolfbith! And Wolf, hi, thanks for popping in. Yeah, no, I am very... It is definitely going to be a heckin' trip. So... I am going to do something I never do on stream, other than wipe the dust off my hand tracking thingy. I am going to get into character, and then I'm going to complain about everything for 2.5 hours. So, this guy is known as... What is wrong with hand tracking? It's really mispositioned. You can definitely fix that before I start complaining for real. So let's do that real quick. Yep, okay. That's fine. You're here. Now, where is... Settings, leap motion settings. Now it's off angle. Whatever. Where is the leap motion is the question. That's really low. It's not bad though. And they're right up against my chest. And if I move this out further, then the more well that doesn't give up. Hold on. Yeah, this is fine. I just moved it out too far. Okay, we're good. We're good. Shift him where he belongs. Oh, cancel settings, general settings, virtual camera. Alright, now everything should work again, and the hands should stop ending up inside my face. Perfect. Hey Haru, how you doing? Okay, so today I will be your recently expatriated furry immigrant Ket Mindsinger. Ket Mindsinger is having a bad time because Ket Mindsinger is used to his dragon village of dragons, where all of the stuff is made out of hardened materials. Floors aren't tiled properly because toe claws scuff them all the time, and you basically just go piss in the bushes. And here he is in a established city, in a human world, in a human town. Everything is designed for humans. Every time you sit on the toilet, you have to sit awkwardly sideways because the thing is connected to the rear wall for the plumbing instead of going down, and your tail doesn't fit behind it, so you can't comfortably curl up while you poop. And every time you go into a grocery store, the polite people go, "Hey, slap some tape over your claws so you don't scratch up our stock or puncture a juice box." And the impolite people are like, "Oi, where's your muzzle? Go home, furry scum." So, Ket got very upset about all of this, and he went home and he decided to write an essay about it. And that's what we're doing today. So before we do that, my fourth monitor has to stop going nuts. Change the OBS source and actually put a text box up on the screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. Where are we? Let's just do this for now. That's a start. And then, Jesus, okay. Yeah, that's not working. That's not working. You're a good boy. We're on Twitch. We are on Twitch. Hello. This isn't a moral outrage stream. This is a creative outrage stream about a moral outrage stream. Let's be very clear about that. Everything going on in the stream, while it may have parallels, oh right, yes, while it may have parallels to things that happening to real people in real life, and it might be a quality experience because of that, because of parallels, well, real life parallels. That's kind of half the purpose of creative work, really. Where is chat? Why can't I see chat? I've done something stupid. Hold on, chat's not showing up at all. I'm just gonna steal it from here. Chat. No, it doesn't need a background. It just needs this. And then we're gonna chuck it in here. What is wrong with chat? View. Like, people are typing, and I'm not seeing chat. I'm gonna delete this, recreate it, and then hopefully that solves the problem. And that's what I get for having distinct things for everything. I could just do this. And are people typing things though? People are typing things though, and I'm not. Yeah. Lol. And I'm not seeing them, so. And it wasn't really working to begin with. Maybe it's a problem with the actual CapChat website. That is possible. Okay. Because this stream will not work without chat on screen. So before we get into it, chat needs to be on screen. Copy. Paste. Properties. Remove the semicolon, and then I will re-edit, and I will press OK. It is not working. Of all days, how dare you do this to me, internet? No enabled activity. True. Prevent clipping. True. And then we have, what is this? Theme undefined. OBS chat night dev. Come on, that should be working. Okay, what has happened to chat? All right, yeah, no, I'm so sorry. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put stream elements up real quick. That'll take me about 2 minutes. Please bear with me. I apologize for this. All right, take care, God. Take care, get up. Oh yeah, well, look, this is. I wanted to be annoyed about other things, but apparently I have to be annoyed about this first. Like, I will settle for basic bitch Twitch chat. I just need literally anything. Stream elements. Chat overlay. It was working literally fine. Yesterday. And get started. No, I am logged in. Dashboard. Garden report, streaming tools, elements, overlays. There we go. Edit. It's no. I don't. We don't need a tutorial level today. Okay. Save. Link. Browser source. Browser. Whatever. Custom CSS. No, that's not what we wanted. URL. All right. Someone type something. Okay. Hello, Valentine. Thank you for the lurk. Okay, this is going to be fine. You know what? I'm okay with this. We're just going to leave it in the top left corner and then pretend it's just been there all along. So, do we want to... Well, hold on. Well, before we do that, I'm gonna... There will be people who will want to type entire paragraphs in response to things I say. So, I am going to... Position, size, and style. I'm going to make it a much taller. So people can. So basically everybody. Hi Percy. Yes. Hello. No, it shouldn't. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay, save. There we go. Okay. Perfect. All right. Test again. Are you serious? Do I have to recopy the URL or what? More test. Okay, I'm just gonna. I don't want to restart OBS. I don't want to stop stream. Oh no, we got something. Okay, it's doing things. I can see things. The problem with that is I'm just going to try 500 and that should work better. And we will save that and then it will be that tall and then hopefully the offset from the bottom. And then we will save it, then we'll preview. No, do not preview. Copy link. God, what a faff about. Also, the monitor I've got OBS on goes out randomly once a minute or so. Or more often, apparently, than that. Okay. Test. Okay, we have chat. It is reasonably sized. It is in the corner of the screen. I am going to put it above my head so it is not in the way of other stuff. Indeed, success. Very good. Okay, let's do this. Please explain. What am I explaining, Dustin? You forgot to put text in your redeem. If you're waiting, please explain point redeems on stuff related to reasonably sized assets. That's, hey, you didn't redeem that. One sec. Yeah, if you're redeeming that for stuff related to the essay, don't. It's a waste of channel points. We're just gonna do all of that anyway, so don't worry about that. We're getting to all of those things. Anyway. Window source. I need to show you my text software. That is fine. This needs, I'll just crop it for drama. One sec. Filter. Crop pad. 200 of the 150 of 50 and 50 off the bottom. Perfect. And this is, it pretty much fits. This is fine. Okay. Where is my cursor? Cursor is, I can't see it on screen. I took too far off the left. Okay, there we go. Now I have a reference value where I can see what I'm doing. A useless currency is finally getting. Please explain. Wait, what do you want to explain, Dustin? Please explain the likelihood of turning out a scaly over turning out a furry in childhood. I don't know. I think it's a progression, and I think it's related to be extremely blunt, going off of the back of Patricia Taxon's recent video essay on the topic, the sort of autistic you are, the sort of sensory input you are trying to process as a human being, how you decide to pass that, and what sort of I don't want to say dysphoria because that's not the word, but what sort of replacement top level layer of skin or fur best translates to the sort of sensations your body is fighting to process into your mind. Also, yeah, I think like half of us here do, also the correlation with the media you consumed as a child, because all that creativity is just a melange of stuff you've seen before. So yeah, that is my final answer. Okay, where was I? Right, I was changing the crop filter to make more sense. 70? 70 is pretty good. Now I want it to see the top line of the thing, and it doesn't, so 30, 20, and perfect. Okay, that'll be the top line. You can see a little bit of gray border there, but that's fine. Right is fine, bottom is fine. We'll work around those as we go. Perfect. All right, flawless, done. Let's get into it. We are writing an essay. We are writing an essay because we have two problems. Yeah, did that should be fixed now, Bolus? Is that, yeah, okay, good. Yeah, and there you go. And now you have a Fallout persona. It scans, right? You do have a Fallout persona, yes. That is what happened, yes. Yeah, so it comes out. Personally, I had a progression. When I was 6, I got into Pokemon. Shortly after that, I started watching Digimon. Then I had an Animorphs phase. Focused mostly on all of the alien races in Animorphs because the humans were boring. Whereas, okay, are we? Okay, we're facing in the right direction. This is good enough. Okay. Then we have all the alien races in Animorphs. Then we have Metroid, and then I started combining all of that shit and basically just ended up with dragons. Let's be honest. So yeah, that's my story. It's not rocket science. Unfortunately, I also started combining dragons with all of the hard sci-fi I read. I read soft sci-fi and I read fantasy, and I'm like, this stuff is good, but a lot of fantasy authors, and I'm not blaming everybody for this, and there's definitely place for soft magic and soft sci-fi as aesthetic, But a lot of authors seem to use soft magic systems and soft sci-fi as an excuse for soft logical system and soft causal systems, and they just get lazy in like plot development and logical cause and effect relationships. Thanks, but arguably the fact that I put dragons in all of my stories is the least important part about my writing. But it is also a thing that I do, and I'm not going to dispute that it's true. One of my stories doesn't have a dragon in it. I still have to. I'm actually mostly done with that one. Possibly it will flop as a result. Who knows? Then again, I've never published anything, so that's also part of the problem. Okay, so before we get started with this potentially utter train wreck, I want to cover one quick other thing before we get into the essay proper. Just searching up a quick reference image. This. We're covering this. And the more astute of you might be responding by, you're covering Rob Cantor's actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf. No. I am covering the practice of sticking papercraft human heads over your muzzle to appear human. And to identify more directly or more indirectly whatever level of abstraction you choose to apply to the process. Hi, Beacon. I'm gonna call them fleshies, half because it's a reasonable reversal of the term furries, and half because that term just generally makes people uncomfortable, I expect. So this is going to be fleshies. Come on, I can type. And where was this? I had this on reference. I couldn't sleep, and I wrote down the essay title, and I was like, the rest of it I'll work out as we go, but the essay title is pretty much fixed. Fleshies and the against natural weapons. Kink taken too far, or institutionalized overreach. There you go. Welcome back, Bolas. Oh, thanks. I actually, unfortunately, completely lack competence in this area, but I had it recently repainted by a friend, and I'm very, very happy with the result. Also, hello, Impish Bees, welcome in. I don't. It is starting to dawn on me that because of the size of the audience, this is probably if people do learn about my stream, in general, this stream might be the reason why, and I'm in this moment deciding to be comfortable with that and just forging on ahead, because what we're doing here is just a little stupid. All right. Yeah, Dustin, be good. You occasionally say spicy things that are a little too spicy, and I don't want to have to kick you because most of your input is really good. Sir, let's go with this, because I am going to handle a lot of things that might otherwise get you grouped by Twitch, but I want to handle them very gently, very carefully, and sometimes cast in a little bit of metaphor. because all of it is relevant to this matter, and a lot of them are also relevant to furries in various scopes of the issue. And thank you, I really appreciate that. So, to lead off, before we dive into the meat of the matter, a lot of this is a metaphor for real life. None of this is a metaphor for anything or anyone specific. If you feel attacked personally, that was not intended. If you feel attacked as a group, please, I beg you, complain about this in chat, raise it as a topic, we'll discuss it, and we will stick it in the essay. And that is how we will develop this, because I want to have a debate about this. I want to actually raise, a quick summary for Impish Bees. This is an essay, a counterfactual essay written by a furry immigrant into human society, complaining about how the human society isn't designed for him, and he has to jump through all sorts of hoops in order to function like a normal person. With and also a bit of a hammy, a bit of a realistic take of how that might affect other such furry immigrants in the so-called fleshy subculture, that being like reverse furries. I live among humans. I wish I was a human so I wouldn't have these integration problems. But unfortunately, a lot of the integration problems a lot of furries would have in such a situation are straight up morphological, and I thought so too, right? That was my chat doesn't. This is essay writing. Look, we're writing it. It's on the screen. This is what's happening. Okay, so before we get into the meat of actually writing an essay, what is this doing? Why is there this outline here? Scrivener, please stop screwing with me. Okay, that stopped doing it. Okay, perfect. So, I'm going to leave this image as front matter. And let's get into, I don't know, what's Hobbes's Leviathan? I'm Philistine. I don't actually have a good reading on historical philosophy and literature. I just read-arrived most of it myself. That's why what I do with my life is so whack, right? Okay. Also, really quick shill for MPHBs who's not usually here. I do this sort of thing about once a month. It's not usually this whack. Sometimes it's focused on actual fiction I'm writing or designing. Sometimes I do programming. Saturdays I do variety gaming. I do all sorts of stuff. Please stick around. It's always a ride. So, this essay needs essay structure. And essay structure, people go off the wall about essay structure a whole bunch of times, but ultimately what it needs is an intro, which is a summary of the topics to be handled. Then we have a whole bunch of points. Let's do 4 points. Usual essay structure is 3 points, but that's kind of a high school grade. And then we have a conclusion. Post factor summary. Okay, if I have a mod in the chat, I don't know if I have an active mod in the chat. If I don't have an active mod in the chat, I'm modding Beacon. Can someone take a look at why Percy is marked as possible ban evader? I'm not bothered by this other than it's really messing up my chat format because chat doesn't scroll down properly whenever Percy posts. So if I don't... Yeah, I don't know. You posted something weird the first time you hopped into my stream, and it wasn't bad or anything, but Twitch picked up on something you wrote, and now it's just no. But Valentine is lurking. He's actually busy. Beacon, do you have time to resolve that, or do I have to pick someone else? Point is, it's not urgent. We'll get back to it. Okay, so this is not how I write essays. How I write essays is, because in normal essays, in normal high school essays, every point is supposed to be a paragraph, and every paragraph is supposed to link into the subsequent paragraph. It's not actually a problem, Percy. Don't worry about it. It shouldn't affect you in any way. But I do feel like there should be a way to label you as I actually have no idea. I don't know how busy you are either. But if you could, like, I can mod you, and then if you can do a quick Google and see how to resolve something that I will send you a screenshot of, and ideally we go from there. But if you do have the time, like if it takes you more than 5 minutes to solve, then it's not a problem we can solve. Probably it should be really simple. I'll DM you what I'm seeing. Well, not I'll post it in our server, but there you go. So that's the highlight I'm seeing. I just want that. Yeah, no. I do need to. Okay. Which. Sorry about all the asides, by the way, people. It's the tech gods are not with us today. LS community content monetization. Roles manager. All roles. Yeah. Add new. All right, Beacon. You should have mod now. Please take a look at the problem for me. Much. I'd really appreciate it. All right. Perfect. Yes. Yeah. Bolus, come on. Stick with the program. All right. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of doing paragraph points. Oh, cheers. I figured that was yeah. I figured it'd be either incredibly simple or impossible. Percy, if you could try and type a few things every so often and see if well, obviously, you know what, type like normal, and hopefully eventually the thing vanishes or has already vanished, because Beacon is pretty baseline competent and we appreciate him very much for this. Paragraph points are a very high school. We're going to do reverse branching anecdotal concept coverage. What that means is that every point is going to start off with a short story. Okay, it's not no, like as you normally would. Jesus, you know what I mean. No, I don't want anybody to type normal in here. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's the most recent message came up with that frame, but then that frame has vanished for me. Perfect. Okay. That looks really good. Yeah, it works, but it's like the whole point of essay structure in high school is that it's supposed to teach you about essay structure. And essay structure is not designed to be a formal be-all and end-all structure about arranging information for the consumption of another party. It is supposed to be a 101 class in linking information together to present a coherent presentation on a topic. Am I familiar with typing quirks? Yes, please don't. No typing quirks. Yeah, problem solved. Awesome. Thank you very much, Beacon. Really appreciate it. You're stuck with mod now, though. Too bad. Mostly because there's 13 people in chat and no mods other than lurkers. The sandwich essay format. Which one is that? If you could run us through that real quick, I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, reverse branching anecdotal concept coverage. Basically, every point starts with a short story. And then that short story is elucidated into a topic or a number of relevant topics. All of those topics are consolidated into a single thing. Then another topic is handled the same way, and then those two topics are linked. And then we bring out the third topic, and then we do the same thing. So it looks a bit like this. Story, topics, explanation, consolidation, and then, oops, here. Hold on, I'll scroll up a bit so you can see what I'm doing. And then you also have story here. Sorry. Oh, there you go. Oh, this isn't formal. Nothing you learn here is intended to replace school. Actually, no, I'm kidding. All of this is intended to replace school. If you can watch my streams and don't not go to school, please do that. Most school is a waste of your time and is terribly administrated. But this is just what I've found in my experience of handling this sort of these sort of topics and this sort of information. So this is my take. Okay. So yeah, basically you do the same structure, right? Story, topic, explanation, consolidation, and then you consolidate the consolidations. Basically, you hook them up into a coherent topic. And Ideally, if you don't do this too many times, if you do this too many times, you overcook it, and people get completely lost. School does get me a paper that says I can do a thing. University also got me one of those papers, and then I left it in the corner of my room for 3 years, and then my parents forced me to frame it because apparently it's useful as third-party endorsement, and now it's incredibly crumpled and kind of stained, but it's still framed like... I was going to say it's framed on my wall, but it's not framed on my wall. It's framed in the corner of the living room because we're halfway through moving. Still, because life has been incredibly busy, and when I last moved, I moved to almost literally the most distant place on Earth possible from where I moved from where I lived previously. So I moved from Melbourne, Australia, to Switzerland. I can ask the paper factory for another paper. That would require me to talk to the paper factory ever again, which I am not convinced I want to do. But that is good to know. I did not actually know this. Thank you, Beacon. Okay, that's good. That's good. Did you write this piece of paper? Because if you wrote me a piece of paper and it says Wolfmyth knows how to write, I would probably take that at face value because it's written by Wolfmyth and it says Wolfmyth knows how to write. So I think it scans. Anyways, I'm deleting this because it takes up too much space, but that's what we're doing. What are the topics we want to cover in today's essay? We want to cover fleshies. We're going to start with fleshies because fleshies are the most benign approach to this problem, and basically every other take on this problem from a furry point of view is confrontational to some aspect of the establishment, and we want to capture our audience with something a little bit weird and a little bit foreign to them, but also something that doesn't relate to them specifically. So then when the essay pivots around to tackling current events and actual problems, either they're already engaged or they've already stopped reading due to lack of interest in the topic. What's the difference, Beacon? I'm not having the Chinese room argument with you. Yeah, obviously. This is all the little monkey in my brain doing all the writing. I am doing this for fun. I couldn't sleep last night, and my brain started free associating really, really madly. And all it regurgitated literally was this title. So I wrote this down, announced I would be streaming it today, and then went to sleep. And now I have to follow through on it. Okay, so we have fleshies, and because of the nature of the problem, we're going to tackle fleshies first before talking too much about the rest of it. And this is not going to be in the essay. We're going to be writing first. All right. Okay, so this will be a solid start. So, poor cat does have to interface with human society. He has a... okay, so for context, Cat has a motorbike. Cat has a motorbike because he has the long-ass tail and the tail doesn't fit in cars. And cars are the main transport in this area of human society. But Fortunately, there is a convenient alternative in the form of a bike which you can hang your tail off the back of, and if you're relatively careful about... I've also misspelled embarrassed. One sec. There we go. If you're careful about curling your tail up on the back of the vehicle, it's usually relatively safe. And I'm sure an enterprising company will soon sell a rear-mounted rack for that sort of thing to make things a little bit safer. Now, this is a problem. Okay, so this will be the framing story of the essay, and we will come back to this story. There are prohibited weapons acts, restricted the unarmed martial arts instruction. What you will want to look at, because I've done some martial arts in this context before, Beacon, and where I would expect the points of contention to arise, like the lines to be drawn, would be in the usage of martial arts in conflict. If you get involved in a fight, either breaking up a fight or someone attacks you, kind of provoked or unprovoked, is it your obligation to announce that you possess martial arts training? Under the assumption that this would ostensibly somehow change their behavior. What is going on stream? Oh, hold on. Let me change the indent. The indent is screwing us. Style regular paragraph. Paste and match style, split and selection. I am balls at Scrivener. I don't know how it works. Motorcycles also increase the utility of tailbags, I would imagine, for not only storage space as well as the way to the... Yeah, I would expect so. Like, you flip it upside down and sit your tail on it. That would work, maybe. It is possible. So the case law on the defense of self-defense against the charge of assault under the crimes. Yeah, something like that. You're looking at Victorian law, aren't you? That's probably a good start. Okay, I absolutely need to solve this indent problem. Do I? No, I don't. No, I do. It's annoying me now. No style. No, we're not doing that. View navigate. Project format. Paragraph. There we go. Tabs and indents. First line. No indent. There we go. Problem solved. Now I just have to change the thing when my screen stops flashing. All right. Filters. Please. Okay. There we go. That's perfect. I can work with that. All right. That should display correctly. If it doesn't, someone please yell. 2 out of 5 tabs down. Done. What are you doing, Killbot? Are you doing like an exam or something? Oh, now it's overlapping chat again. This monitor does not usually misbehave this badly. Please give me a moment. So the case law establishes that self-defense is tested by the court in terms of holding belief, and that belief... What? That's got nothing to do with whether you know martial arts or not. It's about your ostensible motivation in fighting in defense of yourself. Yeah, no. It was... This is not working well. Come on. Okay, well look, if this is what's happening, then that's fine. I'll just minimize this every time I need to. Okay, now we should be able to see things. Prep for next math class. What math are you doing? Oh, shit, I got my desk one down, please. Statistics. Statistics is best math. It's the only math worth doing, really. All right. I have to lift my hands too. Crap. Am I eating honeyed chestnuts on stream? This was a mistake. All right. It's a problem for 2 reasons. Very nice. All right. Sir, we don't need this image right now. We might need that browser window later. This is fine. Okay. Okay, now I can see what's going on what we're looking at. What may matter as a martial artist, naturally armed person, is that you'd be reasonably expected to more competently assess, and thus not be given so much leeway to in judging what degree of force and self-defense is reasonably necessary in the case of martial artist, because training, in the case of natural armor, because habituation and instinct. I am going to cover both of those things. The first problem is that habituation and instinct can be maladaptive. That is, perfectly legitimate instincts can be triggered in incorrect contexts. And second of all, children. Children with claws. It's a thing, and it's a problem, and it needs to be handled. And trust me, both of those will come up. There we go. All right. I'll be drinking sugar water as we go, so if I get progressively more hyper in the next half an hour or so, that'll be why. Okay, so we need to establish a formatting canon. Children, exactly, stuff like that. A lot of stuff like that. If only a different degree teeth. Yeah, but yes, humans are entirely capable of removing fingers with their teeth, but humans have a very predictably shaped face that doesn't jut out and allow them easier reach for your fingers with their mouth. Which is also a thing we will be covering. Look, anything like that. We'll cover specific cases later, but I'm trying... Look, bear with me for like the next 10 minutes or so. There'll be a little bit of faffing about, but I'm hoping to be able to lay down something like a progression of logical reasoning from... Yeah. On me. I tried to scroll down on the wrong screen. Nice. That's really quick. This barely counts as a math test. Yep. Okay. So we have the main heading. The main heading is 18-point font. Pink is okay. Main heading can then be. Let's make it 20-point. There isn't a 20-point. I've been betrayed. Can I edit this? Damn you, Scrivener. Okay, what's the next size up? No, that's too big. Okay, so 14-point font can be subheadings. And then subheadings can be 12-point. We'll deal with that. No, 12-point is normal text. 13-point font, maybe? 13-point font bold. That'll do. We'll figure it out. Right? Yeah, exactly. No, there's the whole point is that one of my ground theses for these is if you transformed half of all humans immediately into a whole variety of species, then you wouldn't have half human and half furry population. You would have a half human population, and then you would have a massive distribution and variety of furry minorities because almost all of them would be morphologically different. You might have it's like splitting the world in half between humans and the rest of the animal kingdom, right? It's not you don't just get solidarity out of being non-human. There's more to it than that. There's a variety of instincts of social systems of basically of just neurological wiring and evolutionary needs. So ultimately, handling any of those morphologies specifically would be counterproductive. Just because on a high level the topic is it's not about that, it's about what generalizes. What may also matter is to what extent in setting there's globally available social norms about handling interspecies interaction packaged onto stranger danger. That depends on a whole bunch of other topics which are probably actually out of the scope of this essay, such as exotic species trafficking. Yeah, I don't know if I want to touch on that. It's a bit much for given the groundwork. Oh, I don't think it displeases it. Um, I think it just boosts it, right? They're not different. They're not two different things. They they stack. So the strange man is offering you candy. Don't take the candy. The strange man is offering you candy and also has really sharp teeth that shouldn't somehow circuitously encourage you to take the candy. The principle of not taking candy from strangers still applies. Well, yeah, but that's a very specific general social context and is usually relatively heavily chaperoned or takes place in high trust societies. So, yeah. Yeah, but that's not stranger danger. Unless you're talking specifically about. I don't know what you mean by stranger danger. You say stranger danger, I'm getting the tagline feedback of, you know, stranger danger. I don't know. Oh, definitely. I'm getting distracted. Okay, pleasures. Hmm. Please spell this correctly. Sometimes. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's kind of the whole point here, right? Again, like it's completely made up and it's fun and it also has a whole bunch of parallels to real life. It's a little a little real. That's an adequate summary, yeah. I am very heavy on the what ifs. Um, I will what if something and I will extrapolate it wherever it goes, and sometimes where it goes is uncomfortable because sometimes life is uncomfortable, and I try not to shy away from that. And when I do hit it, that's why my rules say don't be crass, but they don't say controversial things. You can say controversial things, just be considerate about them, be clever with how you put them, and remember that other people also exist. Don't forget theory of mind. And I hesitate even to say be kind because sometimes be kind is not the kindest thing that you can do. Water time, sugar water it is. Thank you. I'm drinking this watermelon iced tea I picked up yesterday when I was really tired, and I should have had it when I was really tired, but instead I'm having it now at 7 a.m. when I'm bright eyed and bushy tailed. Just I'm gonna have the most hyper day today. It's not gonna end well. Right. Between throws themselves into time. Um. Uh. So, I intentionally didn't plan this out when I scheduled the stream, and I decided to structure this essay as I was writing it. And the upshot of this is that I'm actually, pardon me, having cognitions about this topic as I'm going. So I feel like the core thesis of this essay is logistical overhead. Oh no, I will occasionally it's a writing stream, and usually my writing streams are explicitly writing design streams, but unfortunately this writing stream I'm actually writing things. And watching me write things is sometimes really, really boring, which is why I'm trying not to write a lot of them at any given bent, because yeah, the only reason I'm doing an actual writing stream for the essay is because it's an essay, it's information dense, every paragraph should have something in it worth discussing. The next time I do a stream like this, I'll probably just make it a just chatting stream, because that's like much better suited to what this is. Do I think in this kind of world there would be a burgeoning extant industry of like anthro-related incident insurance? That's a really good question. I will come back to that. Yeah, but being able to offer insurance requires predictable incident rates, which, for a variety of reasons, I mean, everything is approximatable statistically, right? But TLDR, yes, but it would come with all sorts of caveats. Not in the least, species-specific premiums. The problem with species-specific premiums is either it's discrimination or it's optional, and the species with high premiums don't participate. So the system can't function. So there's actually a bit there to unpack, because you would have to have species-specific premiums, because that is how the risks would shake out. Oh, nice. Well done, Kilbert. Overhead. Okay. The problem with grocery shopping for me is first. The answer is the answer is need insurance in case they get hurt because of a human-related incident. No, I feel like human insurance would cover that. But again, in order for that to work, anthros would need to be able to participate in the human insurance system, and that's not a given. I was more thinking along the lines of like the store that has the anther would have it for Ella or someone else cover the damage. Oh, well, stores don't usually do that. Stores don't usually do that. Large stores tank the cost because it is part of operating costs, and at the scale they operate at, the insurance. Look, let's cover insurance really quickly for a bit, because we will need to come back to insurance in general anyway. But I don't mean furry insurance. I mean IRL human insurance, like what, like insurance itself, right? Like not coupled to any deeper fantasy concepts. The point of insurance is, how do I lay this out? Okay, so obviously insurance carries a risk reward profile. So there is a risk that something will happen, and the impact of the incident. So you can probably assign these point values and percentage probabilities. So let's say there's a 10% chance that something with an impact of 1 will happen. The net impact of this thing is risk times risk on. Okay, so a 10% chance of a one impact risk incident occurring is 0.1. And that's the number you have to handle, because it's the damage times the probability of the damage. And the problem is that in a lot of cases where the damage does occur, people can't afford to cover the costs of the damage. So insurance companies are a cross between a casino and a bank. They gamble that the probability of you having an accident is lower than you think, and you're gambling that it's higher than you think. And the premiums are set at that rate. You are paying pro rata over time the apportioned cost of the average predicted damage you expect to incur. And premiums go down over time because accident demographics usually go down over time in some ways. Obviously, like health insurance goes up over time, and stuff like auto insurance goes down over time, because as you get older your body fails more, but as you drive for longer your skill goes up. So a lot of different curves, risk curves in insurance do that. Did my chat break again? Hold on. No, someone just hasn't, people just haven't typed in a while. Okay, sorry, I'm paranoid about my chat breaking now. Yeah. So, where was I? So, insurance. Oh, no, not the retention. Okay. The point of insurance is allowing you to pay for things you otherwise wouldn't be able to afford. If the thing you're insuring against is something that you can pay for out of operational costs, there is no reason to insure against it, because you can just pay it yourself. And premiums are always charged a little higher than the average incident rate, so the insurance company can make money, and so they're amortized against statistical fluctuations. Because obviously, it's statistics. Events spread out into a statistical distribution over time, but for a given subsection of time within the within the macro time flow, events can be either more frequent than usual or less frequent than usual. So if you get a whole bunch of incidents in a row, an insurance company might have trouble paying those incidents out across a whole variety of clients, which is why insurance companies usually insure each other as well in order to back that up. Insurance differences, damaging things. The insurance would cover those damages, except for other cases, various cause would be hard to see. Exactly. That is exactly the point that I am in a roundabout manner getting to. But one of the ways around this in specific is considering insurance from the point of view of things and people that don't need to be insured. And one thing that doesn't usually need to be insured this way is stock damage and shrinkage. And we're gonna come back to that, Dustin. We're gonna talk about your active camera, and your little anxiety habits, because that's also something that would affect your insurance premiums, in fact. But in short, if I lose stock to damage, but I am a chain store and that loss amounts to approximately 1.5% of my profits, I think usually the number is somewhere between 1.5% and 5%, depending on like the market vertical and the cost of the stock. Because a lot of places like that also have massive markup on their stock. I'll get back to Beacon's message in a sec. Point is, if you can pay for that out of your own money, then you're the one insuring yourself, and it is on you, but it is your privilege and your right to determine how you insure yourself and what requirements you put on that. And if, as a store, you decide that letting in this extra 10% demographic of people twice as likely to damage your stock skews out the cost benefit curve, it is your privilege as a retailer to deny them entry. And in a lot of countries, there is technically no reason they can't do that other than racism or discrimination, or there's surely some sort of thing you could usually take to the Better Business Bureau. The problem with furries and anthros and people with natural weapons and different dietary requirements and propensity to cause accidental damage in a variety of ways is that the numbers back this up. You can actually run the numbers and go, if I let people with claws into my store full of cardboard juice boxes, I lose twice as many cardboard juice boxes for 5% increase or 10% increase in traffic. And that is something my store can't take. And you can't just say, oh, that's discrimination, because if you just say, oh, that's discrimination, and you force people to go along with it, the big store chains will survive and they will get around it and they will implement other safety measures inside, and the little mom and pop stores will crash and burn because they don't have those resources and they don't have ways to get around these things. I always do appreciate people breaching the Twitch character limit. It's high value. All right, Beacon says, there are probably two overlapping risk curves, both age-gated and possibly weighted by species, but based on the thesis that risk begins high before an individual obtains competent self-regulation skills, declines to a moderate low when that is attained, and then rises again as aging diminishes those same capabilities. I would... exactly. No, that's what I mean, right? Sorry. When I said discrimination, that we're getting to that, Wolfmyth. The case that Ket Mindsinger specifically is going to make is that he could trim his claws, but that gives him anxiety. Having trimmed or blunted claws makes Ket uncomfortable, and that is where where conflicts like this comes from, because Ket is a hunting creature. He goes out into the forest and he catches himself rabbits or a deer or something. He cooks the meat himself, built-in fire, very convenient. But if he takes that away from himself, if he blunts his claws, it affects him. He doesn't feel like he can defend himself. He doesn't feel safe. So it's a thing. It's a balancing act. It's a problem, and it needs to be tackled. All right. Effectively, a bathtub curve weighted on two principal coefficients. I would say, Beacon, that you're correct if you were to aggregate all causes of insurance and insurance payout. Oh yeah, in that case, Bolus, did we get most of that right? Yeah, exactly. Which is why we're starting with fleshies, because fleshies, as a subculture, have many solutions for covering claws up because humans don't have claws, and having claws while playing a human isn't realistic. And the variety of solutions I'm not going to say imposed, because it's a voluntary subculture. They wanna have that experience. But the result of that is an association of claw blunting and protection with deviancy. Not severe deviancy by any stretch, but with some category of abnormal behavior. And if you associate covering your claws up with a subculture of wanting to look like humans that you don't subscribe to, and some dude stops you in a store and says, hey, where are your claw covers? Do you interpret that as, oh, I'm shit, sorry, I forgot to take basic due diligence in order to avoid damaging stock more than is usually statistically should be likely, given the adequate protections, or put on a collar and get in your cage, you freak. And that's yeah, right? Are you kidding? This it's important. Never apologize for sidetracking the stream, because that is exactly what we're doing. Yeah, I'm well, apparently Bolus is identifying with some aspects of the stream as well, which is good. I've got a captive audience and so on, anyway, We know we're pretty comfortable with how insurance is happening. Okay. Oh yeah, for sure. Again, it'll be difficult, and everyone has different contexts. You can't read minds. What you would ultimately have to do, because we're tackling this as if it were socially a relatively new problem. But ideally, I'm saying obviously, it's not obvious because there are many such problems in the real world that have not become more resolved over time, despite ostensibly the no systemic reason within that problem itself why it couldn't be ameliorated over time. Um, eh, wait. I've gotten distracted. Okay. Oh, okay. This is too trimmed again. One sec. Let me pull this up. Right. That's fine. There we go. Okay. Right. I'm no amused about Wolf's life. His partner is a human, but not human. Is also shunned. Yeah. Yeah. It's look. It's all of this stuff is highly contextual. I think there's a section on fleshies here, like explaining what fleshies are that we can sort of skip because there's this. What I will do is I will do a call out box. This sounds so bad. So a thing I'm very fond of doing in essays and articles I write is little call out boxes with like. Wait, actually, how did I manage that? It's okay, Percy. If you think I'm muted, whether I'm muted or not, I would always always prefer that you tell me, because the one thing I don't want is finding out an hour and 18 minutes into stream, oh shit, no one's been able to hear me all this time, which obviously hasn't been the case all this time, but when it does happen, I'd rather people tell me immediately so I don't like prattle on for 5 minutes while stream is inoperable in some way. So no apology necessary. Thank you very much for mentioning it, even if it wasn't actually the case. Please overreact to such things in future rather than underreacting. I would really appreciate it as a streamer, because very seldom does audience do that, and I really appreciate it when they do. Skipping what that makes sense, if this essay is directed towards other furries entries but describing their actions for how to... yeah, that's kind of what I want to cover in this little call out here. God, this I shouldn't have picked this term. This term is it's well, it's certainly doing the job of making the reader uncomfortable. So at least there's that. Yeah, formatting this is going to be a disaster, but we'll get there. Because test writers aren't graphic designers, Killbot. They're the sort of people who write this page intentionally left blank on pages. Mm. You can't ignore the word absurdity. I'm enjoying this because it's a bit of an outsider look on furries in a certain way, and I'm liking that it's coming with this ground level discomfort. Ignoring the word absurd, it's the kind of when people embrace a country's culture and either suppress or reject their own beliefs to do it. In some cases, they have the entire process feel unnatural. Others, they'll be judged for even trying to join into the existing culture. Like, no, fleshies are furries. Come on. Realize there is almost certainly some market for what I suppose there might be called furry social workers, being specifically humans who accompany perpetually risky furs in human-dominated settings in a manner that conspicuously signals a human is responsible for managing their behavior. Oh, you mean like a fursuit spotter? I mean, yes, exactly, but also that is also true. I'm putting yeah. Dustin is also not wrong. I knew this stream was a good idea. I knew it. Okay, I'm just putting this. Dustin, stop sexualizing social work. Yeah. That's why we've got this cut out. Mm. That which first? This thing? Not really. Uh. Oh, Percy's first. No, I wouldn't. I mean, yes, but that's not a bad thing. Restating the premise um, is valuable because anytime you restate something in different words, you learn something about it. And Percy's take specifically is cultural, and I think that's something that I've underemphasized for mechanical concerns. But the reason I'm emphasizing mechanical concerns is that mechanical concerns are one of the quickest and most visceral ways to feel othered in also a cultural sense. Um, okay, so we've got this paragraph, then we've got a paragraph that covers uh, uh, and then we have uh, okay, so that's what I want to do in this cutout before we go back to the mainstream of it. Mechanical sense is also the most obvious factor. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, species is the right word. First of all, I don't really want to get into the verbiage and nomenclature of race. But second of all, species as in any furry that tells you any furry can have kids with any other furry is wrong. It's no. But in a mechanical sense, two species are any two individuals that can't reproduce. Is it can't reproduce or kind of viable? Point is, you can't have a family line of patchwork person without someone helping you stitch the bits together. Is it socially induced dysmorphia, dysphoria thing? Because this sounds like that. Yes, it's basically exactly that. I mean, isn't hot take? I don't mean anything by it. I'm trying to be gentle. Shut up, Krez. Shut up, Chris. Mr. Electric, take him to the principal's office and have him expelled. But yes, semi-hot take, and I don't mean to say it as if it were true. I'm putting forward a point for discussion. Isn't, after a fashion through a few layers of processing in certain contexts, all dysphoria/dysmorphia socially induced in certain ways? If you feel like your body doesn't fit, how can you tell whether that's a feeling that comes from inside you or that comes from the things you've experienced? Shut up, Paulus. No, I want to say next person who makes an FMA joke gets banned, but also they're really funny. Can't help myself. There you go. That's because you haven't been paying attention. Just read the essay. It's on the screen. It's fine. But yeah, no. Dysmorphia and dysphoria are at the boiled down to uselessness level of definition, a mismatch between how you want to be and how you are. Specifically, morphologically. Morphologically being, I'm distinguishing morphologically from physiologically, where morphologically is the way you appear, you look, the body parts you have, and then physiologically is how those body parts are doing, if that makes sense. Socially induced norms, well, yeah, but are they there? Like, I don't know. But I'm really hoping Percy is typing up a Twitch character limit message and hasn't just left in outrage. But I really want to hear Percy's take on this, because I'm only seeing uh, part of the discussion, because I'm not actually dysphoric or having to deal with that sort of problem. This is like the far right boogeyman of the media makes you have this for if it were actually true for fairies. It's the media. Oh yeah, no stress, Percy. And yeah, sorry for kind of the double barrel blast topic, but I think this disambiguation or this distinction is actually a core aspect of how we should handle this going forward in the context of this essay. And Bolus, that is an oversimplification. Every psychological and physiopsychological. Okay, no, that's all good. Every physiopsychological perception. Physiopsychological is a general semantics term. Ignore it. But every physiopsychological perception that you have is a combination of external and internal factors. And every combination of external and internal factors is actually a combination of present and past perceptions, because all of your internal factors are aggregates of your past experiences processed through your neurological wiring. So everything you think and are has been molded by the outside world, but the rate and manner in which it was done, combined with your sense of self and its boundaries, is what actually determines whether something is internal or external, because that distinction is actually, when you come to actual temporal information processing, it's actually a really arbitrary distinction. Everything you are came from the outside world at some point, including your body. You don't actually control anything you are except through the lens of what you have already become. Anyway, Dustin says, I wouldn't say they're necessarily always socially induced, because sometimes people have some things that just relate to actual, like, physical anatomical realities that may or may not be possible. You don't know that, Bolus. We have no evidence that reincarnation is real. That doesn't mean it's not. I got mind wiped when I was 6 or 7 years old. I had a very coherent set of memories, a very kind of alert take on the world, a very kind of consistent personality. And one day when I was 6 or 7 years old, my mother says, I woke up and I remembered nothing. I had no context on the rest of my, like, the earlier parts of my life. I preserved my personality as welcome to Shoulder Drake's stream, which is comes to you dressed as furry bait, but then halfway through the stream we get undressed and it's all just existential horror all the way down. Sorry, that's kind of me in a nutshell. Anyway, my point being, I got mind wiped, and one day I woke up and I remember nothing. And again, this is all third hand. As might be implied by this story, I don't remember any of this. But the point being, my memory got clocked. I kept my personality and stuff like that, apparently. But the details of what I recalled went away. And there is a lot of kids statistically that say weird shit that could be random or could be from past lives. They're usually incoherent enough, because even if reincarnation is real, babies are born with a tiny potato brain. You can't run an entire adult consciousness on a tiny potato brain, and by the time you develop tiny potato brain into something capable of sustaining an adult consciousness, all the edges get smoothed off anyway, and all you have left is core personality traits at absolute best. Reincarnation, if reincarnation is true, It is extremely anecdotal, it is messy, and there are safety features built into the human body to prevent inheriting trauma from body to body, such as mind wipes when you're a child. Some kids get them at 3 or 4, some kids get them slightly older, some kids don't come in with trauma and don't have that problem. My point being, there is no evidence for it. There is no corpus of scientific evidence for us. But if you were to try to construct anecdotes into a coherent picture, it's not difficult to do. Where were we before before poor innocent unsuspecting Bolus opened his mouth? I'm going to finish these paragraphs while I think about what to say next. Oh, Percy's come back. Okay. Dysphoria is induced by various factors, both by your own beliefs and perhaps stereotypes of others. Your stereotypes of others or other people's stereotypes of you? Like, do you mean your stereotypes of others or stereotypes held by others? It's more focused on you believing something is wrong, you feeling off physically and suffering from it. Socially, it's more unintended. Imagine being called man or dude and thinking that doesn't feel right. You'd more often be judged for trying to be yourself, man trying to be girl, and vice versa, as opposed to being socially made dysphorics. Yeah, maybe body shaming, there's a stretch there. I don't mean socially made dysphoric like bullying. I mean socially induced dysphoria, like dysphoria caused by a mismatch between the social environment and yourself and the opinions you hold of yourself. Your self-image, right? I'm really trying not to use the term residual self-image unironically, because no, but that's basically as a concept, it has utility. It's more focused on you. Yeah, exactly. It's when it's kind of what I'm shooting for is kind of right between the two things you've handled. That being, you have a self-image. You want to feel a certain way, you believe you don't, and that makes you uncomfortable. And then it's not necessarily about the actions of society, it's about the existence and implicit expectations of society. It's like, okay, I'm going to take a quick detour. And I don't actually know what the Wikipedia article on this says. But I am going to stick it up on screen because I'm feeling bold. And then I will defend my decision to do so in the aftermath. Sorry, I'm adding another window to the screen real quick. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. Shush. Shush, we're trying. Okay, welcome to the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, which I don't think was invented by either Sapir or Whorf and is more of a theory than a hypothesis. But the point is, everything about its name is wrong. But the concept of linguistic relativity. The language you speak informs the person you are. What the hell were we talking about right before this? This made sense in my head a moment ago. More from the trying to just okay. So the things you believe, the things you're experiencing. Okay. For the structure of language influences the speaker's worldview or cognition. I can't remember where I was going with this. I'm gonna hide this, and if I remember, I'll. If my voice goes really weird, it's because I misclicked on my voice changer. So it might suddenly kick in. If my voice changer suddenly kicks in, please tell me. Sapir-Whorf fans with dementia when they forget the word for die and become immortal. Well, obviously, yeah. Sugar water time. Thanks, Dustin. It's not that simple, right? Like, you jerk. Probably. Okay, bye Beacon. Hey, it's your fault for not making time every Sunday for. Look, I'll probably do shit like this more often. I'll probably frame it as just chatting streams. There's just too many interesting things going on in this hypothesis space to leave this well enough alone. Enjoy whatever it is you're doing. Have fun. It's okay. We're not following up on the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis because I can't remember what I was going to do with it. But it's a start. We'll hit it later. I'm worried that if I don't write these paragraphs now, we'll never get back on track here. So let's go do that. Okay. Full venues. It makes for a setting where um imagine answers showing up to Furcons just to hang out with fursuiters. They they would though, as if you wouldn't, Dustin. Oh yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. And Throw shows up to fursuit contest, loses to a fursuiter. That's a lot of sugar. Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if even though like, I mean, you're not even at cross purposes. You're doing the same thing but in reverse. So I feel like a lot of the techniques would generalize. Yeah. Even if specific problems you're solving would be quite different, I think a lot of the techniques would a fleshy get shamed for fur facing? Would a furry get shamed for flesh facing? Poodling is already a thing you do to fursuits, and it's definitely like, poodling on a furry is just a hairstyle, okay? Stop shaming hairstylists. Wait, is it a hairstyle or is it a fur style? Haha. Checkmate fursuiters. Anyway. Okay, so that's good. I can't remember what this paragraph was going to say, so we'll come back to that. Reminding myself has a deep personal impact. My claws aren't sharp. Hmm. This can't be a call out anymore. It's too, there's too much detail. It's too core to the thesis, but we might have to move it around a bit. What do you mean? Who said that? He just has to pick up juice cartons like this. Oh, is that what I wrote? That sounds like something I would write. Thank you, Seth. What about those dino grabbers? Dino grabbers are you'd have to, well, there's dino grabbers for fun and there's dino grabbers for old people. The dino grabbers for old people are way better because they're actually designed to lift more than like 0 weight. I think that I'm gonna get into this because I've done a little too much thinking about how you could save claws, and I'll probably cover that right after this. No, claws are a subsection of mechanical issues. But I'm just modifying the intro to kind of, you know, lend context. I think that does it for context. Oh yeah. Probably. I look, it's not a terrible idea. I think there's value in it. All right, quick break. I need to go to the bathroom. 1 moment, please. I hope this works. Oh, whoops! I forgot to update the Pikmin meme. Enjoy the Pikmin meme from yesterday while I go to the bathroom. I return. I don't need to go outside to find my bush. It's is that where we were? That's where we were. Okay. Yeah, I'm fluffy. There's bushy bits everywhere. I can find any one of those without issue. Thank you very much. Yeah. All right. So that will. I'm leaving this in here. Okay, so this is good. Like we're talking about. We're talking about. Okay, so the two main topics of the essay are. Okay, I'm going to split this essay up into three main points. Look, the essay structure is emerging organically as we're linking topics together. My thesis has been proven around. I'll get to that in a moment, Percy. Sorry, I'm just going to write this down before I forget. So our 3-point structure is going to be kink, morphological issues, and regulation. That's going. Whoops. Okay. So we're starting at kink as deviant behavior, then we're segueing into coping with the additional overhead of living in human society, how furries cope with that, how that affects people, how those ways that affect people are mechanically resolved, and then how those mechanical resolutions may or may not be enforced by regulating bodies like governments, insurance companies, service providers, or any other combination of things. And regulation is going to contain insurance as a subtopic. And then, once we cover all of those things, we circle back around to the conclusion. Look, we've actually gotten a functional essay out of this mess. I'm actually a little impressed with myself. Percy says, with getting around the issues of clause, there's plenty of ways such as various cover-up methods, usage of tools, even grabbing things differently. But as expected, it all comes with various levels of restraint, difficulty, and inconvenience, some with which many androids can handle or tolerate, but others that may be too much for them. I think that the single most valuable concept we've had this entire stream, I shit you not, is Beacon's Dustin yelled emotional support person. Now I can't unthink it, but I think the concept is actually really valuable. Like straight up a human caretaker who goes with you and does the dual job of performing the actions you cannot morphologically while also signaling that you are taking responsibility for your morphological differences. And the problem is, a lot of these poor bastards would probably be minimum wage, and there'd be certain categories of furries, of various anthros that people just might not want to work with because they're like fundamentally offensive to the human senses. Like they're slimy or they smell funny, and there's no resolving that because they never were designed for human consumption. Consumption is probably the wrong word there, but I mean. Consumption in the being around and interacting with sense, not in the other literal sense. Unemployed and desperately trying to find income support. Yeah. A little too cold. Let's turn the fan off for a bit. Yep. My point with the essay structure, and I'll probably move on from the essay structure after this, is we've arrived at essay structure, but we've done it by inverting concept trees and linking them together once we got to the bottom of things, not necessarily by just going, oh, here's a linear logical chain of things. Like, you can cover an inverse tree of a whole variety of topics, and usually once you do, they submit to being rearrange into a linear structure pretty easily. The thing is, when you rearrange your essay topics into a linear structure, and people are bad at this. People are bad at this. I don't know if I'm good at this, but I know people are bad at this, and I try to do better, at least with that in mind, and sometimes, hopefully, I succeed. The reason the topics need to go in a linear structure is because the essay is addressed to somebody other than yourself. And the reader needs to be taken logically through the steps of the argument. You can't just, like, if you were talking to someone who shared the knowledge you do, you could just state the conclusion, and you could just, and that'll be the end of it. And that's how I usually talk to my wife. And that's why I have trouble talking to other people sometimes, because I will have a thought, and I will have an essay in my head, and I will reach a conclusion, and I will state that conclusion, and then people will think I am nuts, because in regards to their Overton window, half the time I probably am, because I've done all the internal processing, and then listed my conclusion with the expectation that the person I am communicating with shares a lot of my precepts, which is not always correct. The whole point of an essay is to bridge a wider Overton window gap than usual, or to demonstrate understanding of a topic in order to earn a diploma for employment in the... It shows you what I think of the modern education system. Point is, if somebody presented essays as a tool in bridging Overton window gaps, I think people would care about them a lot more than they do. And I think in that respect, essays are actually an incredibly useful tool. Everyone just thinks they're arse because of the way they're taught in schools. Anyway, where were we? We've done that. I need to finish this paragraph. Bolus says, I think it's more useful to detail specific adaptations. My character is now an obligate carnivore, with claws he didn't have before, so he takes it slow and uses a smartphone stylus and only tries microwaving some chicken at first. Goes disastrously. It's more useful to detail specific adaptations, Bolus, in what context? What are you referring to? Sorry, I think you're responding to something I said, and I can't remember what it was. If you could clarify, that'd be awesome. Sorry. In the meantime, I'll try and finish this paragraph. And what view humans hold in this is largely unclear, but certainly... Like, for example, comparing and contrasting what Ket would need to adapt to human society. Yeah, I'm going to focus on claws specifically because they're probably a pretty common morphological adaptation. I might give horns a very brief aside as something most don't have, and I'm definitely covering teeth because teeth lead to muzzles and muzzles lead to a type of discrimination which is incredibly close to the lawful-unlawful line. And that's what's going to be covered in the morphological... What did I call this section anyway? Morphological issues. Claws, horns, teeth. Do I do tails? I'll do tails as well. We'll have a few subsections. Thank you, Shoulder. What about body heat and room temp? Ket doesn't have this problem, so is not covering it. Ket runs on magic fire. So he is comfortable basically anywhere in any temperature. And this isn't, to put it bluntly, as an essay writer, it is not a problem that Ket has considered, so it's not a problem that's being included in the scope. But it is certainly a very real problem for most people in this situation. Ket would be a space heater for other creatures, yes. Ket can be comfortable enough due to internal fire if just kind of napping literally in the snow, or he can lie on, like... we had a scene in one of the things I was running with him as character, where he fell asleep on the steam lines of a submarine because it was warm and comfy. What about fur? That's a good point. That is a good point. Yes, I did make that stupid comment in Bolus's server about the AI nudity filter probably incorrectly catching out anthros who don't usually have a nudity taboo, anthro streamers. The problem is that this is an essay, and we need to edit it for space. well, maybe not space, but like legibility. Um, the reason most essays, no, no, Kit doesn't have a middle name. Kit has one name. Kit's name is Kit. Mine sing is a Kenning. Get it right. Um, anyway, no, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding about what his name is, but I'm kidding about the get it right bit. Oh hell yes, that's yeah. He's really fluffy. We like Kit. Anyway. Oh, our game jam results are out. We got 91st overall for our game. I am very happy with that. Beacon, weren't you supposed to be adventuring or something? Uh, anyway, Wolfmyth says fur. Claws are most important. Tails and horns are asides. Teeth are the crux of the issue. Fur goes here. Um, uh, morphological issues. Oops. There we go. Yeah, very happy with that. I unfortunately didn't do a lot on that project this time around. I had child. I was swamped with child and also other things. That's been my last 2 months. I've been swamped with child. I also now have a 2-month-old child. He's really cool. I like him a lot. Um, sir, we've done that. We've done that. We would finishing this paragraph. Somebody said something. Fur scales, as in like shedding or dandruff and allergies. All of the above, Dustin. Uh, I'm taking an artistic liberty here. This being, if Ket was actually writing this essay under his real name, he wouldn't say that he breathed fire, because in real life, if he was living this way, he wouldn't list fire breathing as a core trait of his, and he just wouldn't breathe fire. And he wouldn't provoke those risks because it is an entirely voluntary. As an adult, it is an entire. Oh shit, his kids. Oh shit. I'm not touching that in the scope of this adventure. Okay. Um, I think this is fine. 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 This paragraph needs completing. I think this is okay. This isn't quite complete. I think this needs another paragraph. This is fine. This is laid out okay. This is, yeah. This is a 14-point section. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm happy with this so far. I should publish this somewhere when it's done. All right. I'll definitely be sticking it up on my Discord. But the question is, should I post it somewhere else? Oh, Bolus, you can have a copy if you want. All right. Also, the stream might go on for a bit longer. I'm tempted to just make it a 4-hour stream and actually finish the essay. If I don't finish this essay on stream, I will finish it immediately after stream, so don't worry about that. Several of the morphological issues will fall under regulation as well, such as the special abilities such as breathing fire. Yes, probably. Hey, Chris, how's the barbecue going? Will fall under regulations. Well, what is a special ability? Where do you draw the line? That's good. Can I have some? Snakes using venom could be illegal. Yeah, but how do you make snakes using... Well, let's put it this way. Punching a random dude in the face in the street is illegal. But it's not regulated. They don't chop people's fists off at birth so this doesn't happen. What they do is they license the sale of firearms and they restrict them by state and by country. Oh yeah, please do. I'd love that. Send it express. I'll pay you back. Point is, weapons like that are regulated because they're considered unnatural or abnormal. Because the... Let me think about this, how to phrase this. The weapons held by other anthros are natural, but they're not anthropocentrically standard. I'd like to think so too, but I can't say that because then it sounds like hubris. But I'm glad you think so, Volus. Yeah, but is breathing fire natural? Like in Ket's case, breathing fire is a magical component, yes. But breathing fire in general is probably chemically explainable if you were willing to do the legwork and compromise on other aspects of the morphology of your fantasy race. Chameleons have invisibility, it's just not very good. And then the question of the invisibility becomes a question of quality, not a question of... it's a qualitative, not a quantitative concern. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to condense this back into, which you're listing examples of, but not extracting the essence of, is human law and regulation is anthropocentric, as in centered around humans as the average reference species. When we say something is small or large, it is small or large relative to us as an average size human adult, or human, however old you are. If you're under 18 in chat, get out. This is a mature stream. I swear occasionally. There may be fucks given. Oh my god. You two, you're lucky you're valuable contributors to the discussion because you're also such goddamn children. Anyway. My point being, legislation and regulation is anthropocentric. I know, but like in general, not this specific time. This specific time, you got off scot-free. It's Bolus that's dragging you down into the to his level. Anyways, stop it, children. Behave. Where were we? Yes, so any such abnormal ability, be it magical or not, which is not really a relevant distinction here, the response to such an ability is almost exactly commensurate with how far out of the average human experience it happens to be. And that's ultimately down to how tightly it's regulated and how it's legislated for or against or whatever. Ultimately comes down to that conceptual distance between I am a human. I go shopping. I touch things with my fingers and nothing bad happens. And my grocery store just exploded because my neighbor sneezed. Yes, that's what I meant. Sorry, I just the average human experience, less accoutrements plus clothes. Just like I thought it was implied. Sorry. Okay, yes. What Beacon said is true. Yeah, I'm gonna get some non-sugar water after the sugar water. I was right. I'm getting a little hyper. Like I'm trying to control for it relatively well, but if humans could go around on the regular with prosthetic claws, is this such an issue? If I made, I did make prosthetic claws for a dress up one time, and they were. I took an aluminium strut from Bunnings, I chopped it into sections, and I sharpened it on a whatever those things are, the grindy things. It's not an angle grinder; it's the other grinder. And can I make that? Yes. It is safe. Is it safe in public? Probably not. I made sure they were sufficiently blunted for taking to a bar and getting drunk. But I could definitely have not done that, and it could have definitely been a problem. I tried just ordering off Etsy, but it wasn't accurate to what I wanted. You need to go to one of those flesh cons where people more experienced with that sort of thing can give you actual crafting tips on claw caps and prosthetic claws and that sort of thing. Bolus, highly recommended. What do you mean? What do you mean, haha? I think it's legitimate advice. If humans have prosthetic claws, they can just take them off if they're being convenient. Yeah, exactly. That's the issue, right? The core issue at the core of all this is you can't remove it. It's part of you. And it's you're stuck with it, and you have to operate within this restriction. Now, there's not a formalized culture in what few humans hold this. The autonomous, largely unclear, but internally it adds aids many aspects coming to sense with their own fears and situations, helps them find camaraderie when in often very real distress. Yeah, that's complete. That's fine. There's nothing I have to add there. Could one advance a US Second Amendment type argument? The humans are literally only prosthetics away from bridging the gap, and their choice not to does not imply. No, because that argument then dips into economic inequality, and possibly into legal inequality and criminal records. If you can take away a human's, if you can say that a human who can't afford prosthetics and that's the end of it, and if you can say this person has committed a crime, take their prosthetics away, can you say this guy hurt someone, declaw him? Where is the line? I mean, the US, I believe the US legally mandates the declawing of house cats. Is that correct? Exactly. Like it's guns do bridge that gap, but they bridge the gap in a oh god no what? No? I thought that was like a thing they did in the States. My point is guns bridge the gap, but they bridge the gap in a way that elevates the baseline beyond what humans are otherwise capable of, and they bridge them it's not okay. Good. I thought it used to be or something. I remember this being like not a meme, but like a point of discussion a number of years ago in a conversation I had. But if that's not legally mandated, then that's good because declawing sucks balls. Both I say this both as a human and as an invested furry. So that's a good thing. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That man stole my bread. Spay him. Shit. Wait, spaying is the thing you do to females, isn't it? I forget which is which. Damn it, Dustin. Sorry, I'm okay. I'm fine. Oh shit. Point is, some of that stuff translates and some of it doesn't. I hope. I don't want to get neutered for stealing a soft drink. No, I think Khajiit is innocent of these crimes. Khajiit is still gonna have to pay his insurance premiums. Anyway, yes, we're definitely getting a little sidetracked. Let me finish this section and then we'll talk about morphological issues and remedies. Properly, point by point. Most recently, enthusiasts of this pastime is risk. You could, but what would that gain you? Would that gain you anything? Would it add value to this? Yeah, I'm almost done with this. Hold on, let me just finish this paragraph, and maybe the one after it. There's deep, arguably, of early evolutionary connection between such things. Certain aspects of the fleshy. I'm calling it the fleshy fandom. Fuck you. Have oops. No. I forgot what the redo button was, so I just retyped it. Hypothetically, if we redeemed actually real Polish, would you also be mandated to type in Polish? No, because then I'd just have to retype it in English, and also I type way slower in Polish because I don't do it often. I assume Ket's intent here isn't balanced, but the relation of a perspective. Because inasmuch as, for example, he represents blunting of his claws and assault on his right to feel safe, there exists too the right of those around him to feel safe, and the satisfaction of these may be mutually exclusive. Yes, we're going to cover a lot of that in section 3, regulation, which is... And the problem with this essay, and the problem with every fucking essay that I write, is that section 1 is 850 words long. So this is going to be indicative of the length of this entire essay. Maybe it won't be a 4-hour stream. Maybe it'll be longer. Fuck, what have I done to myself? Kind of want to save them there. Well, Chris, they're your points. Do what you want. I'm not your dad. If I was your dad, I'd make you give me barbecue. although we can't stay up that late. I probably, I don't know. Okay, you know what? It's 2 hours and 20 minutes in. Let's take a quick fart. I'm actually gonna do a poll. A poll. Um. Okay, I've put up a poll. Do you want me to finish the essay off stream, or do we want to do a second stream to finish the essay together? I think the second will be more valuable because I think the regulation section of this essay, there is a lot to be said in the regulation section of this essay, and I kind of want Beacon to be there for it because Beacon has great facility with things governments do at people. Okay. Well, just vote in the poll. Vote in the poll. It's gonna be up for 5 minutes. I'm actually ambivalent. I could do it either way. I prefer a second essay stream because if I don't schedule a second essay stream in, it's going to be basically impossible for me to find the time to actually finish this essay. Whereas I think if I scheduled this for like next Sunday next week, I could tie it off quite elegantly. Then I think let's do that. Okay, then I won't push to finish this today. I'll probably knock off in about an hour at this rate, and then we will do. Oh, I'm really glad, Percy. That's kind of half the fun of what I wanted to well present here. Right, I wanted to. The essay is a distillation of the discussion, and the discussion is why we are here. It's not. We're not here for the essay. The essay is a byproduct. But because I have this essay here, we can go back through it and easily reference ideas we've brought up and discussed, right? Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, the first I didn't like the first writing stream as much because I was under a lot of stress. I didn't know what I was doing and I was doing too many different things at the same time. This is what I don't know if this is more of a writing stream or if it's like a prototype for the sort of just chatting stuff I want to do. Because ultimately this is more of a just chatting stream than it is a writing stream. The essay is just a summary of what we've discussed, right? So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'll see. I will try this without the essay in the background. Because the problem is, as you've noticed clearly, I go off on so many tangents all the damn time, and without this thing in the background, I would have gotten 5 tangents level of distracted by a long time ago already. So I'm not. Look, there's value in it, right? But I also don't want to write an essay every time we do this. So possibly additional experimentation is required, and we just. It could be old El Paso, Wolfsmith. You just have to believe. Because of the steep predictions, some of the ways then they enjoy. Some of the ways in which these people enjoy these things cross out of the realm of the socially. I want a word that isn't like acceptable or like the word I'm thinking of is conversant, like socially conversant. And it's like these things cross out of the realm of the socially expected and into deviancy or paraphilia. There we go. No issue with this personally, but it is an aspect of the problem that affects its perception in the public eye. This in turn impacts public response to it when it is inevitably raised in otherwise benign and common contexts. Actually, once I finish this section, I'm going to go back through the essay, and we're going to discuss what I've already written and if we agree with it and what we think about it. Second essay stream. Okay, second essay stream it is. Yeah, well, we'll stream this again next week and we'll finish it then. But don't worry, I'm not knocking off just yet. We've still got a little bit longer to go. Hopefully the US people can bear with me for like another hour, because I think it's already extremely late for them. So you can't stay up to late. Do not presume to speak for me, coward. Oh, I can't write short things. Everything I write turns out between 5 and 50,000 words long. I wouldn't be surprised if this came out about 5,000 words long in the end, because there's a lot to write here. I also write quite fast, which helps. I mean, the stream has been going on for 2.5 hours, and we've already written 1,000 words of actual like useful text. Also, to people who have been watching me writing throughout stream, this is why I don't edit, because when I first passed write, it looks like this. I hate editing so much, I taught myself to write edited writing on my first pass. Okay, putting out ideas. The stream is much fun for writing a stream, although passer can relate to the tangents thing. It's a bit too fun/natural to just think of an idea and suddenly 20 minutes have passed. A lot of those tangents that have built up on the later structure of the essays are there has been a lot of valuable contribution. I was going to say added value to the process, even in tangents, because they elucidate what we want to cover and how we should cover it in the context of what we already covered and the message we're trying to send. Where were we? I have no issue with this personally, but it's an aspect of the problem that affects its perception in the public eye. This in turn impacts public response to it when it's inevitably raised in otherwise benign and common contexts. When I can't type this word. No, that is correct. You don't know. Okay, so that covers this section. Now we just need to link it to the next section. Okay, so this is section 1. Then we link it. How do we link it? Yeah. And yeah, look, as I said, the tangents add value, but also, yeah, I mean, they are also tangents, right? And they do take us on glorious and wonderful rides to all variety of places. God, I'm so glad I invested in the hand tracking. Like, in a lot of the video game streams, they're useless, but for something like this, where I get to do a lot of soliloquizing between typing paragraphs, I get so much mileage out of this. All right. Hey, nice. Talking with your hands helps so much with describing the way you mean things. I tend to find, or like helping you visualize what you're trying to say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%. As you, as you can probably guess, I talk in real life the same way I talk. Like, I feel like if someone from stream were to meet me in real life, the thing that would help them recognize me the most, other than the voice obviously, would be the way I use my hands and speech, because obviously as the hand tracking shows you, it is basically the same. No, Killbot, no, stop getting L's, get W's. Bring a W home. Go away, and don't come back until you can bring back a W. Go, go make us proud. I feel like I should say more about this, but I don't know how. Let's go back through this. Okay. I'll read this out, sir. One of the best ways to edit your own writing, if you can't see anything wrong with it, is read it out loud. My name is Ket. Sorry. Fleshies and the crusade against natural weapons. Kink taken too far or institutionalized overreach. An essay by Ket Meinsinger. My name is Ket. I have fur, claws, horns, sharp teeth, and a tail. I eat mostly meat, with the occasional fruit to supplement for roughage. I breathe fire. Don't tell anyone, my insurance premiums will go through the roof. The last time I went into a petrol station to pay, a man stepped in front of me to stop me. This happens occasionally and always feels like an attack. Despite this, I do my best not to take this sort of thing personally. I'm different. It happens. He looked down, then back up at me. Claws? I felt embarrassed as I wondered how to tackle the problem. Because it is a problem. It's a problem for two reasons, of which I will try to handle the more benign one first. The first problem is kink. By kink, I mean, in general, any category of behavior deviant from the norm. There is a more accepted common usage of the term, but I believe this is over-specific with respect to the issues I wish to cover, and besides, the behaviors generalize. We have to actually elaborate here, because we do come back around to the other meaning of kink later, with intent, so... the behaviors generalize. Regardless that this additional specific usage is also this is overcomplicated and this is relevant and material aspect of the problem. There we go. That's good enough. I'm specifically going to talk about fleshies. Immigrant anthros living in human society are generally uncomfortable. Very few of us actually talk to humans about this, but it's a point of discussion and commiseration between anthros themselves all the time. Any human has a story of how their child exploded a bag of chips all over the floor. Detonated. Bag of chips all over the floor in the grocery store that one time. For someone with claws and a dietary requirement for fruit juice, the incident rate is more like once a week. We all come up with clever hacks and workarounds, of course, but it's still overhead. The problem with grocery shopping for me, as opposed to a human, isn't the lack of availability of things to sate my dietary needs. Human grocery store product ranges are pretty good, or the weird looks I get in store. It's that it takes me on average 30% longer to get the same weekly grocery runs done. This extends to every aspect of my life. Human society is an intricate and often well-designed thing, and human culture, the variety of human cultures, have a lot to offer. But living here is difficult. Everything takes longer. I have to be more careful. Sometimes just a little bit more careful, sometimes employing entire new categories of cautious processes, in everything I do. It stacks up, and while many anthros love it here and certainly don't want to leave, this weighs on them. Hence, fleshies, the dream of being human, at least for a day, and not having to worry about any of that stuff. Anthros wanting to live the human dream occasionally meet up socially in pursuit of this to share their dreams, their wants, and, very often, their life hacks for integrating with human society. However, this occasionally goes a little further, from claw and horn protection to tail binding and foam or paperwork masks. Paperwork, that's papercraft, should be. Paperwork masks. I am dressing up in my taxes. The enterprising wrap their limbs, hands, and feet, and construct full human suits for event wear. This is not a formalized culture, and what view humans themselves hold on this is largely unclear. But certainly internally it aids many anthros in coming to terms with their own views and situations, and helps them find camaraderie when in often very real distress. Again. More recently, enthusiasts of this pastime have coordinated to host larger meetups in formal venues. It makes for a broader setting, where interested anthros can show off their work, both functional and artistic, and gives the subculture a physical location which can be visited by curious newcomers. Many get a lot of value out of such gatherings, and, having attended once, I find the general quality and mood of the attendees to be pleasant and of high quality. Oh, yeah, that's what I... Quality and mood to be pleasant and rewarding experience. Good enough. That's still not great. I'll workshop it again later. Unfortunately for many, myself included, certain protections, such as the blunting of claws, have a deep have a deep personal impact. I'm a subsistence hunter and I'm built, for living out in the wilderness and hunting my own game. If I can't catch food, and if I can't protect myself from threats, I feel uncomfortable on a very deep level. My mind holds a core association between how sharp my claws are and how safe I feel at any given time, completely unrelated to coincident real-world factors, such as that I might also currently be hurtling along a motorcycle at speed. While I comprehend quite well the statistics and risk distributions behind allowing me into public spaces and commercial venues with unprotected claws, mandating that I cover them is akin to requiring that I risk an anxiety attack whenever I go out in public. It's not a trivial decision on my part, and it is one I struggle with on some days more than others. Because of this deep, arguably early evolutionary connection between such things, certain aspects of the fleshy fandom have extended their activities and costume work beyond imitation and into kink. Many people are affected by protections placed on their claws, some of them in ways that they enjoy. Some of the ways in which these people enjoy these things cross out of the realm of the socially expected and into deviancy or paraphilia. I have no issue with this personally, but it is an aspect of the problem that affects its perception in the public eye. This in turn impacts public response to it when it is inevitably raised in otherwise benign and common contexts. When I am brought up short and told to cover my claws, a part of me receives this as an order. No, I messed that up. That's a request. A request. Part of me receives this as a request or command to partake in deviant behavior, and possibly unbeknownst to me, that feels weird. I'm gonna have to Google the usage of that. One sec. Oh, good enough. I'm leaving it. It's technically correct. And possibly unbeknownst to me, the other party may at least in part intend this too. It conflates something I cannot avoid dealing with something I may not want to deal with in daily life and should be able to refuse to consent to. Unfortunately, the issues thus become inextricably linked. This here? That does read better. These need to stay, I think, but these are good. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. It does need a linking paragraph. Inextricably linked. I will move on from here to covering the ups and downs of certain mechanical solutions to such morphological issues as claws and claw protection. From there, I will Hmm. Covering or filing down of clause has brought this to mind. Do non-anthro animals live in the world where humans and anthros live together? Do cat and I suppose wolf need to hunt? Cat definitely needs to hunt. Non-anthro animals definitely exist, and the moral implications of this are left as an exercise for the reader. Circling around and compare and contrast. Has Ket not had a bacon burger before? Probably not. Is more of a small and wild game hunter. I don't think Ket would. Ket is me, and I don't like pork because my food habits are weird. But he would eat a whole ass kangaroo, probably in portions there. Compare and contrast the impositions of such regulation against the I'll move you on from here to covering the ups and downs of certain mechanical solutions to such morphological issues as claws and claw propane and propane accessories, claws and claw protection. From there, I will analyze the regulation and scoping of the use of such devices before circling around to compare and contrast the impositions of such regulation against the ability to determine your own involvement and the vagaries of having to consent and to deviant behavior in certain situations in order to be able to participate in society and access basic rights. Okay, so technically this is the introduction, but it comes after generating buy-in. And that is definitely non-standard structure, but I stand by it. Okay. Run-on sentence. He keeps kosher now. No, I just don't like pork specifically. I find it incredibly rich. I am a big fan of gamey meat like rabbit, deer, and kangaroo. I've actually never had rabbit. I really want to try some. A roux burger then, or a normal burger? I will eat kangaroo steak any day. Ket would probably not eat burgers because he doesn't really do like wheat products. He eats meat and he eats fruit, and that's basically it. Sorry, what am I saying? Fruit isn't for roughage. Vegetables are for roughage. Fruit is for sugar intake. I'm dumb. Okay, fixed. Okay, let's look at this paragraph. Yeah, I used to eat. Skippy is delicious. It helps that Skippy is also like a pest, and you can eat as much of him as you want. Alright, I'll move on from here to covering the ups and downs of certain mechanical solutions to such morphological issues as claws and claw protection. From there, I'll analyze the regulation and scoping of the use of such devices. Finally, I will circle around to compare and contrast the impositions of such regulation against the ability to determine your own involvement. And the vagaries against both the ability to determine your own involvement and the vagaries of having to consent to deviant behavior in certain situations in order to be able to participate in society and access basic rights. This is a run-on sentence. I don't know how to fix it. Bolus, do you have any ideas? While you think about this, I will go to the bathroom and have some water. Enjoy your Pikmin meme. I'm gonna put the sentence back on screen so you can think about it with the sentence as reference. Rip. BRB. And return. Okay. Decided that I'm changing this because it's pissing me off. There we go. Much better. If you weren't going to mention this and you haven't disclosed this to your insurance company, why would you like write it in an essay, you idiot? So he has disclosed it and it sucked. All right, wait. And let's circle on to compare and contrast the impositions of regulation against both the ability to determine your involvement. Thank you. Good to be back. And the vagaries of having to consent to deviant behavior in certain situations in order to be able to what might be considered. I'm going to make this sentence longer because fuck me apparently. Deviant behavior in certain situations in order to be able to participate in society and access basic rights. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, I'm comfortable with this so far. Okay. There is no rescuing this. The sentence is 53 words long, and there is no. Okay. Such devices. Next, I will compare and contrast set regulations with their infringement on individual liberties and personal agency. Followed by forced adoption of certain kink techniques as a prerequisite to public amenities and basic societal participation. That's not bad. The wording is stronger than I'd like. Let's take what you've written, compare it to what I've written, and split the difference. And shit, I accidentally refreshed the page. Oh well, don't think that hurt anything. Did I copy the text? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Right, this goes down. Okay. All right. From there, I will thank you, Bolas. Thanks for putting that together, by the way. Next, yes, actually, those are two separate parts. Next, I will compare and contrast this regulation with it's not compare and contrast. Then I will discuss these regulations in the context of the ability to determine your own involvement, degree of participation, yeah, so these regulations. Okay, next I will discuss these regulations. No. Such. We'll discuss such regulations. There we go. In the context of the ability to determine your own degree of participation. Finally, I will cover yeah, but I'm using that as I'm using that as one of the template sentences for it. Finally, I will cover the resulting handling the resulting societal issue of potentially forced consent to what might be considered deviant behavior. in certain situations as a prerequisite to being able to participate in society and access basic rights. Okay, I think this is fine. Next I will discuss, okay, that's 20 words. This is technically one sentence, but this part of the sentence is logically distinct, and that's 22 words. Okay, that's fine. That's actually pretty good. I have no choice because this is the paragraph that outlines the remaining structure of the essay. I'll move on from here to covering the ups and downs, cover the ups and downs of certain mechanical solutions to such morphological issues as clause and claw protection. From there, I will analyze the regulation and scoping of the use of such devices. Next, I will discuss such regulations in the context of the ability to determine your own degree of participation. Finally, I will cover the resulting societal issue of potentially forced consent to what might be considered deviant behavior in certain situations as a prerequisite to being able to participate in society and access basic rights. Okay. I am comfortable enough with this. We might do a final edit later. Okay, Beacon, how does this read? I don't trust Beacon to help me make complex sentences simpler, but I can trust him to tell me if sentences make sense. Okay, perfect. All right. Now, we're coming up on the 3-hour mark. It would be wise to stop here. I am also slowly starting to run down mentally. This has actually been really intense. So maybe we knock off here, and maybe there are 3 essay streams instead of 2. We'll see. But what would we do? What would we do if we kept going? That's the question. If we kept going, we would cover... No. We're stopping here, and then next week we're starting off with a bang on morphological issues. Morphological issues and interventions. I like the word interventions. It sounds like government levels of scary. Okay, in that case, thank you for participating in essay stream 1 of 2 or 3. Probably 3, because there's going to be a lot to cover here, and regulation is straight up going to be like at least 4 different sections. Like the regulation section is probably straight up going to be like half the essay. So yeah, this is what we're doing for writing stream for the next bit, apparently. I am okay with this. I was going to write Never Closer, and I might still do that for NaNoWriMo, that is, which starts, what, next week? Shit. Next week? No, week after next, thank God. But yeah. The new furry idea. Yeah, I did notice that this was a term I didn't know. I didn't want to get into delving it too hard. I'm going to Google it real quick. Shoulder aptophilia for exactly more of this. We'll start on a close a bit already the stream, so we'll start continue from there and we'll have fun with everything else. Exactly. Handy definition, but no. What the heck is aptophilia? Okay. The enjoyment of touching clothing, which doesn't seem relevant to having big horns that get stuck in doorways. An attraction to unique bodies and the way it interacts with the world in unique ways, and there's a definition in my own words. I don't... First of all, I'm not using it yet because I don't understand what the actual English definition is before the furries appropriated the term. Second of all, I am not sure that aptophilia, like the elements of aptophilia are the elements of having alternate morphology that would ordinarily be brought into focus by aptophilia are what we're discussing, but we're not discussing them in an aptophilic context. But that's what's going on in my view of the problem. So yes, let me take a quick look at my schedule before I heedlessly promise a stream next week. Also, somebody followed, and I got really distracted, and I'm sorry for missing that. Impish Bees followed. Oh, thanks for the follow, Impish Bees, if you're still around. If you're not, my apologies. Thank you very much for having popped in to begin with. Now, schedule. Schedule says coding stream next week. Coding stream the week after that. Writing stream the week after that. Okay, what we will do. We will do writing stream next week. Then we will do coding stream 2 weeks from now, and then 3 weeks from now, if there is a third writing stream, essay stream, which there almost certainly will be, we'll do that 3 weeks from now. And then if there's a fourth one, we'll worry about that then. So, see you next week. Next week there will be no variety gaming stream because I'm busy Saturday morning. But there might be a variety gaming stream earlier in the week or at a different time to make up for this. If there is, it'll be Pikmin. That might be like Thursday or Friday or Monday, or it won't be Monday. But it'll be all sorts of things. And then Sunday, same time next week, we will have essay part 2. Thank you all for coming, for watching. Don't piss off just yet. I do want to try and raid somebody. I've stopped doing that lately, and I want to start doing it again because it does add value to a lot of people, and I like it when it happens to me. So the least I can do is do it to other people. Now, in summary, I loved this. I'm doing it again. And we're finishing this essay on stream. It's going to be great. I will post a PDF of what I've written so far in my Discord for perusal and reference, and we can go from there. Now, who do I know that is currently streaming? Bloody nobody. All right, who can I raid? Okay, let's look at this. Let's see. Well, first of all, let's hop into the outro screen. Hello, it's me again. Chat doesn't work here. Screw it. We're going back into this so I can see what people are typing. I have no idea what happened to my chat, my hosted chat, but I'll have to take a look. Ooh, I want that barbecue. Chris posted his barbecue on Discord. General. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, dope. Okay, thank you for that link, Bolus, much appreciated. All right, I want to take a look at other people that are doing, let's do the writing. What are you writing? That's not writing, that's graphic editing. Graphic design. There, what are you writing? Okay, preview, channel preview. Okay, I'm not feeling it. Okay, what other things can we raid? I don't want to raid just chatting because that's full of people with actually large amounts of viewers. I want to raid someone who's a bit smaller than me so they get the big streamer experience. Okay. I can do Outer Wilds. Let's do Outer Wilds. Who is this? Yeah, let's do Outer Wilds. I found someone who seems to have basic streaming competence and talks. So we'll raid them. Thank you everybody for sticking around. Really appreciate it. Really glad that everyone showed up for my stupid idea and really engaged with it. I had an absolute blast.